Hello, welcome to Reminiscent. This is your host, Pat.
And I'm Tom.
And we just want you to relax. Imagine you're in a meadow.
Imagine the air moving in and out of your lungs.
Imagine the lungs themselves, and then quickly shift your focus back to the meadow.
Imagine walking barefoot, feeling the grass between your toes.
Imagine having thumbs on your feet, and then stop imagining that because it would look rather strange.
Imagine picking a dandelion, blowing it, and seeing where the wind takes it.
Imagine being carried away by the wind yourself, feeling free at first, but then letting fear grasp every cell in your body, and then stop imagining that and feel the opposite of fear.
Imagine skipping down a hill, tripping on a rock, eating but not caring because you were so fucking centered.
Yes, it is like an opiate prescribed to you by a doctor in West Virginia. You only had a cavity, but you've been given a prescription for copious amounts of oxycodone, Percocets, and you've taken the whole bottle, and you are so numb that this fall has just absolutely not affected you whatsoever. And you are at peace, and you are in pieces.
Imagine.
Just imagine.
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 Dun, 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 dun. That's where you play Motorhead.
Okay.
You want to start the show?
Let's do it.
All right, cool.
So that was weird.
I liked it. We did another take of that. We did a couple takes, and Tom laughed one phrase into his part. So we had a brief rehearsal. How's it going, man?
It's pretty good, man. Not bad at all.
You said you're a little tired. We're catching up still?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be tired, like, always. It's kind of how I feel, you know?
You could, as Max Bemis says, you can rest when you're dead.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at right now. Doing a lot of things, juggling a lot of balls, you know.
Well, I'm not even going to capitalize on that setup because I know you're actually trying your hardest, and I'm going to go wholesome memes on your right now and say, keep up the good work.
Ooh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, you got it, Pat, friend.
I'm not your friend, guy.
I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your pal, friend.
So how was your weekend? How have things been since we last spoke?
Pretty good. I got a little sick last week, I think because I've been on the road so much. I've been in Philly and Erie and Cincy, and
God.
Even Jesse came to Cleveland, and we had a fun weekend. But it caught up to me, and I was sick, and I'm still coughing up some stuff. But went home to Erie this weekend anyway, even though I probably should have rested. I took Thursday off of work because that's when it really kind of caught up.
So you did end up taking a day off?
Yeah, I mean, even work's been stressful with that Facebook killer in Cleveland, and we've been going balls to the walls coverage-wise on all that stuff, and lots of breaking news and things like that. But I went home to Erie, and I think this is a product of me being sick. Like, you know how when you have the post-nasal drip, sometimes you get an upset stomach?
Yeah.
Anyway, I went out with Aaron, actually. I met up with Aaron. Our
like
biggest
Aaron,
fan.
The Aaron of the Aarons.
Indeed. The King Aaron.
Awesome.
The Hank of the Aarons. And sorry, that was stupid. We went to downtown Erie, and I was supposed to hang out with Kevin and Mark Sunday, but Saturday night I got done hanging with Aaron kind of early. We both had kind of stuff, and I was like, I'll just go to Kevin's and have like a beer and go to bed there because the Uber will be cheaper, and then I'll just find my way home the next morning. Because Kevin lives over kind of at near 6th and Parade now. Not a great part of town, but that's where his dad's painting business is. I'm getting way off track. We went and we ended up drinking a lot. Mark Valentine got off work, and we drank. And I had already had a few beers with Aaron. Anyway, long story short, it was my dad's birthday Sunday. So I had to pick up a card before Kevin and I went over to watch the Cavs playoff game with Jay, my dad. And when I get to the Hallmark store, I realize kind of mid looking for cards that I'm going to puke soon.
Oh, God.
And the lady takes such a comically long amount of time getting me my receipt. Like, sorry I told you swipe, but I think it is chip reader after all. I'm trying to just pay for like a $2 purchase for this card where like, it's like Goofy and Mickey and they're like, more candles on the birthday cake don't mean you're getting older. It means there's more light in your life. Or I don't know, some shit like that. Not even a good card. Anyway, I turn around and Kevin asks me some question and I puke in my own mouth.
In the store?
No. I've done this before on a roller coaster at Cedar Point at a young age. I'm good at catching it when it comes into my mouth. Anyway, so I let loose. Kevin's parked probably 20 feet from the store. I puked 4 times on the walk back.
My God.
My whole body is vacating anything from the whole past week. And I got some on my shoes, and Kevin was just laughing hysterically out of sheer embarrassment and just shock. Like, this came out of nowhere.
Wait, was this alcohol related or
that's the thing is I don't know.
Related?
I've indulged a lot more in the past and felt fine. I think there was a little bit of my body just like trying to get some of the sickness run off and things like that. And so to answer your question, normally I don't think that amount of intake would have set off that type of reaction.
Right, yeah.
But it was a hell of a reaction. Then I got home and my mom even had soup, so perfectly cooking. Like, chicken soup on the stove just to set, and she was going to freeze some and let me take some back to Cleveland. And I drank that, or ate that, and immediately puked that up too. So I'm guessing it wasn't drinking related.
God.
Or at least half wasn't. But anyway, it was super embarrassing, and we were like trying to hypothesize whether or not the Hallmark lady even saw. Or like after her shift, she walks out, locks the door, and it's like fucking hoodlums, like these Hallmark card buying gangbangers. But it was totally embarrassing, and my shoes got dirty, and yeah, that was my weekend. But I'm all rested now. I've been logging good nights of sleep in the meantime, and I'll go down to Cincinnati this weekend to visit Jesse. So,
man, hopefully you get some sleep when you're down there.
Yeah, it's a weird balance.
Sounds like you need it.
But I told my bosses I was hoping to leave by July, August. They haven't really got back to me yet, but starting those wheels, revamping the resume, and I'll start looking kind of soon here just to.
Holy shit.
Yes. Oh, did I? I must have not told you that part.
No, asshole.
Yeah, I told my boss, how does August 11th sound? Which is the day before I had a week of vacation planned anyhow. I feel like that's plenty of notice. It's not like a 2-week notice. It's like...
Dude, that's a ton of notice.
Yeah, so I hope they're cool about it, We'll see, Just tired of waiting around. Figured I'd just give myself a reasonable amount of time to find something, them a reasonable amount of time to find a replacement. They could, they could choose to be, hey, you signed a contract, that's what's up. I don't think I'd lawyer up or anything. It's just like, yeah, all right, whatever. I guess I did. But I think they'll be ultimately cool. They've let the last 2 digital people who wanted out of their contracts out. So,
when did you start?
At that time, right when the Cavs won the championship last year. So it's the NBA playoffs again this year. So I've been there for a year. It's not like I'm walking out on them after 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
So yeah, the wheels are turning, wheels are moving, kind of stressful. Getting sick was unpleasant, but I don't know. Get busy living to get busy dying, I guess, right? Like, I don't know what I would do in Cincinnati yet, but I know I'd rather be with Jesse than,
Than not.
I'm not exactly writing for SNL over here. You know what I mean? It's not like this isn't the most groundbreaking Pulitzer Prize winning. I'm not trying to trash anything at all, really. It's just time for a change, and those are the circumstances, and no ill will in either direction. Just, time for a new chapter,
right.
That's all.
Right. Man. Well, God, I'm glad you finally took a day off, though. That's what we talked about last week. I At what point do you take a sick day? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my worst day of sickness-wise was Monday, but they didn't have the staffing really. The weekend guy didn't have his weekend yet, and I waited till his weekend was over, so he just moved his schedule or his shift up by a couple hours and covered me.
Gotcha.
On Thursday,
Cool.
So I feel like I did them a favor. I was almost better at that point, but sometimes you just need that day to like do the nasty sneezing and coughing to get up the stuff that has hung around, I guess. If that makes sense.
Right.
Stuff that you can't do at work. Like when you stay home, you're allowed to be like making all sorts of noises, coughs, whatever necessary, really. Sometimes you need one of those days in my experience, but anyway, how have you been? What are the updates? What's the juicy gossip? What's the word on the street? What's the
I'm still coughing quite a bit, mostly dry coughs. Still have the nasal drip, which it seems like everyone does, like in the entire country right now.
Yeah, kind of spring's melting off. We'll get better soon. It'll be good weather, and
but I had a very nice surprise. I took last Monday off, took a sick day.
Ooh, nice.
Slept a lot.
Sometimes
we
you need
talked
that
about
time,
right?
I saw some study that said the ideal work week would be 4 days and not 5, and sometimes
It
that
was
extra day of
amazing,
rest
dude.
goes a long way.
It was amazing.
And
So-
on proper sleep, your problem-solving abilities skyrocket.
So yeah, I took the day off and I was kind of bummed out because I really wanted the hours, But I found out that from the day you start, you have 3 sick days or like 30 sick hours. So I took 10 sick hours and I still got 48 hours last week. So that was a really nice surprise, man. I didn't know that I had paid sick leave.
That is, thank God for on Labor Day. You should all think about the union, going up against those Pinkerton gangbuster motherfuckers, fighting for, it is nice to find a job that, treats you well. Where you can take a day or take a holiday or,
Right, yeah.
Because,
Yeah, that was two Mondays ago, though. We talked about that last week, I think, the day it took off. I don't know.
Yeah. In the meantime, you came up with a new topic for this week.
Well, let me tell you about my birthday first, man.
Hey, Tom, why don't you just get to it then, man? Just kidding. Happy belated birthday.
I feel like there's been a theme in the past 3 shows here.
Okay.
3 weeks ago, I told you that I bought my first tarot deck because I like the way that they look, right?
Yes.
And then last week, I just happened to buy another one.
You just happened. This is how it starts, Tom.
Just happened. Well, then on Saturday, my birthday, I received a tarot deck for my birthday. So the past 3 weeks, tarot updates, I got a deck of Zelda tarot cards, and they're the coolest things ever, man. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Seems like a dream gift. Are you into the more than just the pictures at this point?
I've, like I said before, I kind of did the the reading where you ask, for some kind of guidance thing or whatever. Then the cards have a meaning, but it's pretty much I feel like it's up to you to kind of interpret what you think it means. And, if it brings joy, then it brings joy. I don't really think they're telling the future or anything, but, they
a
look
DVD
cool.
of the movie starring Jennifer Lawrence, you mean?
What?
Joy?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Which, yeah, it was all right, I guess. I'm not going to sit here and trash it, but I'm not going to sit here and praise it.
Another cool birthday thing. So Megan was kind of at this herb, what is it? It is a class to get certified to be I'm going to get this wrong, a clinical herbalist. It's like the first step along the way. So she was gone from
Herbivores Anonymous?
Yeah. So she was gone from 9 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. So I had a lot of time to myself. I've been working on, so Ad Astra is the other podcast on this network. We launched a giveaway. There's an astrobiologist by the name of David Grinspoon. He goes by Dr. FunkySpoon. He hosts Star Talk Radio with Neil deGrasse Tyson on occasion. So he lives in DC. We ended up getting connected on Twitter somehow, and he gave us an autographed copy of his book. So we're doing a giveaway with that. So I spent like the entire day setting that up, and then on Sunday,
Can I enter the giveaway?
If you want, yeah, it's at
No, that's not fair. You should tell me no.
No, dude, no, you can't do that.
You're right. That's fair.
It's at elemental.fm/win. And actually, you should check it out, though, because I found this web service called gleam.io, and their giveaways are sick, dude. Like, it looks so legit.
Gleam?
Gleam.
What do you mean giveaways? What's the vibe here?
So you can win the book, right? But the whole point of the giveaway is we want to collect people's email addresses. We want followers on Facebook, Twitter. We have a YouTube channel now for Ad Astra, so if you subscribe there, or you can like retweet a tweet, and like each of those is worth a different amount of entries.
Do we have YouTube?
We have a YouTube. It just auto-populates from the podcast, but they're actually making video content, so
right.
That's been kind of cool. They did some interviews from the March for Science.
Tell those YouTubers we're coming for their motherfucking money, dude. We're coming for their motherfucking content. There was a rant from Andy Milanakis on Twitter where he was like, "F you YouTubers," and he went on a rant like, "Oh, I'm leaving my house. I'm going to the grocery store," and he was like, "F your prank shit. F you. This is what I'm doing today. Shit. I gotta respect the hustle because it's money, but I'm coming for it. I'm coming for you, motherfucking YouTubers." And I was like, this is a world I know very little about, but it seems like it's fucking bloodlust out there. It's on the mean streets, dude. And then I saw another joke where the guy was like, well, never mind. No, he was like, "Hey, I'm your dad." And he shows up to an orphanage, and he's like, "Really? Really?" And he's like, "No, just kidding. Prank show. Follow us for more subscribers, for more dope content." And I guess the commentary was the prank culture on YouTube channels is getting a little out of hand, but anyway, tell them we're coming for them.
YouTuber would be fun. But dude, I had 2 Home Depot miracles the past 2 weeks, and I really want to share them with you because
is it birthday related? Overall good birthday?
One is birthday related.
Okay.
So I think you've seen pictures. I'm refinishing that bass guitar that I have, the Fender Jazz bass.
Yeah, the one Jacob Gordon wants to steal.
Yeah. So a week ago, I went to Home Depot to buy paint, and I didn't shower. I was kind of gross looking, so I threw a hat on. It's my Pokemon hat. It's like the Ash trainer hat. So I go to buy paint. I wanted like the $8 quart. He's like, "Oh, we're out of like the base level, but we have like the premium paint, which is like $14 instead." So it's not bare, but it was like it was some nice stuff. And he's like, "But I'll give it to you for $8 since we don't have the stuff that you want." And I was like, "Sweet, awesome." So he gives me the paint, and he's like, "You know what? I really like your Pokemon hat, so I'm only going to charge you $2. And I just felt like it was so dope, you know?
What store was this? Home Depot?
This is Home Depot, yeah.
Whoa.
So I get the paint. And then I go back a couple days later on my birthday to buy a sander, and I wanted this like $30. It was a random orbital sander. They didn't have the $30 one. They only had the $55 one. And the lady goes, "I'll sell you the $55 one for $30. I'm sorry we don't have it in stock, even though it says we do online." And I was like, "Birthday miracle!
Birthday miracle."
So that was nice, dude.
You want to try to harmonize Birthday Miracle real quick?
Ooh, sure.
I'll go low. Well, we'll find out later.
Dude, I'm going to go back in and put like 18 harmonies in there.
Auto-tune the fucking shit out of it. Make it sound incredible.
Okay, give me a couple more though, okay?
And then tell the YouTubers we're coming for their shit.
Let's do it like 4 more times and I'll put it all together, right?
All right. 1, 2, 3. YouTube miracle. YouTube miracle. YouTube miracle. YouTube miracle.
Awesome.
Again, If those aren't disgustingly auto-tuned, then I quit. I quit the podcast.
But anyway, all that to say, it was a good birthday. I broke vegetarian.
With what? Was it worth it? Do you hate yourself?
Okay, so it was 168 days of being 100% vegetarian. I didn't think I'd last a week. It was kind of an experiment to see if I can do it. And I ate steak.
You did that when you first moved to Denver, man. It's been quite the journey.
Yeah, it started the day that I moved here. So I've lived here for like 170 some days, which I think is crazy. But yeah, the steak was super good. But I did feel pretty ethically conflicted about it.
Why was it?
It
veal?
didn't help, huh?
Was it veal?
No, dude, no. It's just
Does that even make sense? Is that the same animal?
veal is like baby cows that they like force feed, I think.
Oh, I didn't know the force feeding thing.
No. They don't force feed. They keep them in a super confined space so they can't walk around and gain muscle.
Oh, so they're nice and tender.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds awful.
Yeah, I ate a lot of veal patties as a kid, like frozen veal patties, and now I feel like awful about it.
Well, you just broke your veganism, so you're basically a monster.
So
the YouTubers were coming for their
So I'm gonna stick to mostly vegetarian, but not be so strict about it, you know. But I'll probably still be 98% vegetarian, I think. But yeah, that's all I got. I don't know.
I was thinking about. This is way off this week's topic, but now we're starting to talk about food, or a little. Maybe we should just do a food episode, which is nothing of like value educationally, but we just talk about things we eat, which is kind of what we're doing right now. But that's all right. Look out, YouTubers! This is some high octane fucking content coming your way. Us and Andy Milanakis, we taking over. But I was eating an apple the other day when I was hungry now, and I was like, fruits and vegetables, you gotta eat them, right? You gotta. If you wanna, you gotta put good in, get good out, right? That's what they say. And it filled me very nothing at all. And I was just like, God, I don't know.
So then what did you do?
Oh, I guess I'm trying to think of the question I want to ask you about it. Like, when you're trying to snack healthy, but you're trying to get that fill in, what's a man to do?
Well, first of all, I don't snack healthy. I never said that.
Okay, well then let's move on. This is not going to be a productive segment.
Carrots and some nice hummus does the trick.
Okay,
but it's like
everyone who dips carrots in hummus, you just don't understand.
Hummus?
Hummus. No, I actually there was I stuttered over my words. That wasn't. You know what? Can you edit this out because it sounded racist probably, but I really just had to clear my throat. I would say Wheat Thins or Tostitos Scoops are my hummus. I'm not really eating hummus to be healthy when I do. I just really enjoy it, and I want to be dipping a good cracker into it.
Okay.
But if you're dipping carrots into it, it's like I'm in diet mode, and this is not good, and I hate myself. Like, no, man. Hummus is a treat. And Wheat Thins deliver us from evil.
Wheat Thins are pretty dope.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm a fan. I'll eat carrots. Hey, but carrots and hummus, it's a farce. Don't believe them. Tell the YouTubers.
Bush did carrots and hummus.
Yeah, dude. Right? Dank memes melt steel beams. Carrots are bullshit.
Do you want to go into the main topic that I had?
Now you just got me fired up, but yeah.
All right, so the first podcast
I just think
to,
that the movie Watch Out for the Zohan has a lot of very good hummus jokes, and that was an unnecessary interruption. Please go ahead.
So the first podcast that I ever listened to was the Encore podcast. It was actually the Absolute Punk podcast when I started listening to it. Some people who listen to alternative music might know that website. But they did an episode on like how they listen to music, and I've never really talked to anyone about that before, and it really kind of opened my eyes to like how differently people consume music and how differently they listen to it. And I thought it was just super interesting, because I was very much like one of the guys there and like totally didn't understand the other one at all. And I never really thought I could have opinions like that on how people listen to music. And I just kind of wanted to discuss that with you because I thought I feel like it's something I could talk about with like everyone, and never get bored of talking about it. So, I mean, we talk about music a lot already, so why not just do like an entire episode on just...
Yeah, you're kind of doubling down on this whole, but I'm into it. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Tom is taking the lead this week, folks. We're gonna make some progress this week, I think. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay, everyone.
I'm all tangled up in my cords here.
Didn't see that coming, potential problem wise, but
what?
But I think we're gonna be okay.
My computer's so fucking stupid. I have to like talk to you on Skype on my cell phone, which means I have a pair of Apple headphones in one ear, and then I'm monitoring my own audio from the computer with a big pair of over-the-head headphones. So I have like 2 pairs of headphones in right now, like all kinds of stuff going on.
We should make that our Twitter avatar if we haven't already.
Just me tangled in a bunch of cords.
Yeah.
All right, so I talked to my girlfriend Megan about this a lot because we'll discover music together, and it's really interesting, like what each of us takes away from it after the first one. So, like when you listen to a new song that you don't know anything about, like that you haven't been primed for from someone telling you something about it, like within the first 5 seconds, first of all, what do you notice? And then at the end of the first song, like what did you get out of it?
I think I usually either dismiss it immediately or listen for the next 30 seconds and decide whether or not to dismiss it. I don't know. It's easy to let the vocals or the pacing or the mood. It depends. Well, I should explain how I get my music. Usually, I don't consider myself to be very good with it. So there's friends I've had throughout my life that make recommendations that I turn to every once in a while when I need new stuff. And so usually I trust their recommendations enough to at least give it 30 seconds instead of 5. But I'm the voice. Unlike you, I don't really mind a poor audio quality because I think there's good songs out there that aren't. Man, that's a tough question. I don't know. I feel like when I saw your list of questions earlier in our pre-show notes that this line of questioning made more sense. But now that I have this question alone, I'm having trouble. What do you do in the first 5 seconds?
Well, it's obviously the first thing I hear is the recording quality,
which is your forte.
Which is, what I went to school for. I try to not discriminate.
Yeah, right.
Only because.
Yeah, right.
Only because.
Drinking out of cups, being a bitch.
The first time I heard the Wonder Years was their old album from like 2004.
Do you think Dude Ranch is high quality?
No, but it's acceptable.
Okay. I guess.
I mean, for the time, it's fine.
And you don't like Diarrhea Planet's tune Platinum Girl?
Didn't love it.
It's the same level of recording quality.
But now hear me out, all right? Hear me out. So the first time I heard
to the
Wonder
listeners
Years,
who are just joining us, this is like 7 episodes in the making, this argument. But Tom is bullshit and everything's a lie, and I need everyone on the YouTube community to know that we're coming for this shit.
The first time I heard the Wonder Years, I turned it off within like 10 seconds because it was like really bad recording quality, and I wasn't gonna revisit it. And my friend Ryan like really pushed it on me, like, you got to listen to it. Just get over it. You got to listen to it. And they ended up being one of my favorite bands of all time. And then they redid that album, like remixed it much better. So I try to think like I would have missed out on like a band that introduced me to a lot of other bands and like is the reason I had the friends I did that I started a band with. So I really try to like give it a pass if it's not the best recording quality, but I don't know, man. There is something about it that even if it's like an amazing song, it's just still not quite there if I can't really vibe with the audio
good recording
quality.
quality to you is different because you like automated drums, don't you? Or don't you prefer automated drums?
No, I don't. It's all I can afford to do right now is the problem.
Okay, I misunderstood. Because to me, in my understanding of what you enjoy, it's like a really pop punk song, like the fucking Empty Spaces by Story So Far or some like that.
Yeah.
With super automated double bass or something. Just like a pretty 2000s-y pop punk tune with automated drums. But I could be wrong. To me, that's your wheelhouse right now. Like you're automatically going to be open to it if it falls into that category.
When you say automated, do you mean like programmed, like fake drums?
Yes, fake. Like you've programmed the double bass to be unrealistically fast, or you just picked a random snare noise from Pro Tools and are programming the drums into the tune.
Not many bands actually do that. I do it because I don't have a space to record drums,
Right. I'm saying your taste from what I think I understand that you enjoy.
Right.
Like if you hear something with that noise, a very clean 2000s new millennia pop punk tune, you're automatically going to be more open to it. That's my super honest friend take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So if I hear like a shitty snare drum or like a kick with a bad bass frequency response, like that, the first thing I hear is snare tone in a song. Like the absolute first thing is, what does that snare drum sound like?
Okay.
And then like drums overall, and then guitar tone is like a really like I don't like the Black Keys music, but what makes them painful for me is their guitar tone. And I would never give them a chance because of their guitar tone. But over time, I think it's changed with, I didn't care about recording quality because that wasn't like my thing. Like you don't really notice something until you start.
So the guitar tone,
involved in
you can't even. Okay, I'll say this: a good friend of mine thinks the Black Keys are trash because their lyrics and music are ultimately inconsequential. It's just like it's like commercial alt or something is what his take is on it, which is fine. That's fine. But I think there's something to be appreciated about Brothers. And you're saying the guitar tone could turn you off from what some may argue was one of the better albums of the first decade of the millennium, or whenever.
I don't like them anyway. But the thing keeping me from listening to it a couple times to find elements that I like is pretty much the guitar tone and the overall kind of trashy, like overdriven.
But there's so much more than Gold on the Ceiling is just some. I feel like that's not even them at all. Like,
what song is that?
Like that's.
Right.
I feel like that's not their only card they play. I mean, listen to Everlasting Light off Brothers, and to me, that's the other side of them. Like a little slower, a little better lyrics, and I agree with my friend to a certain degree that their music's pretty inconsequential. But the older you get, the fucking harder it is to listen to some like really sad, really whiny shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I disagree.
I don't know. I feel like you just, don't get me wrong. I don't know. I'm not old yet. I'm not, I'm not the age that I'm not the age of. Anyway, listen to Everlasting Light. You might like it. To answer your 5-second question, the Black Keys song Fever, when it first came out, it was like, dun 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 dun. I was like, fuck you. This is a waste of hit. You're on the radio because you're already famous. This is bullshit. I listened to it again and like probably 7 more times over the next couple weeks. The bridge of that song where it like builds on itself, where it's like da now 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 now, and I'm awful at that, but there is a very worthy 30 seconds of that song, which is to me pretty good rock and roll. But I just thought the intro was so hokey. I'm trying to get better about putting bands, I guess, dismissing them before I listen to the whole song more than a few times. You know what I mean? But there's so many bands out there that I anyway, like I said earlier, to answer your original question, I have a group of a few friends that are my music providers, I guess.
Sure.
That make recommendations, and they make their best of year lists at the end of the year, and I try out some of the albums they liked and things like that. And I'm very grateful to them for that, actually, because I am awful at it. People don't seem to like the music I like. Like every time I've ever tried to DJ a party in high school or college, no one's liked the things I enjoy. You know,
Right.
To me, I'm killing it. Like what? How could you not enjoy this playlist? Has Mariah Carey's "Fantasy" on it. That's the fucking catchiest song of all time. Sweet, sweet fantasy, baby, motherfucker. You got YouTubers, fucking haters out there. And anyway, I just don't have the talent to make a good party playlist, so I put the trust in others who have better taste than I. Better taste than me, I should say.
Do you make playlists then?
Spotify. Well, Spotify has kind of adjusted all that. When I was a younger guy, I guess I did. I really enjoy a good album I can listen to front to back, so I can just turn it on and either on a Saturday or Sunday morning make coffee and make pancakes to it and not worry about the perfect playlist.
Right.
But with Spotify, I've been able to find new music and add it to my library, so that the most recent 50 songs on my library is usually the playlist anymore.
Okay.
So it's kind of like an ever-building playlist. But I do have stuff I made in 2015 that's just labeled Summer 2015, but that doesn't mean it's like Steal My Sunshine by LEN or anything. It's not like a list of beach jams. It's just...
Right.
what I made at that point in time when I was at work and decided I need a fresh slate of shit. I do have some playlists that I have downloaded onto my phone for like plane travel or no Wi-Fi area travel.
Right.
There's like a Weezer list and there's a Killers list, of songs I enjoy. Not necessarily their hits, but anyway, not really. I'm not big into the perfect playlist because, like I said, no one's appreciated them when I put care into them anyway. So, fuck them. Fuck you YouTubers out there.
Not feeling, man. Listening to the Encore podcast, they were talking about, I forget which guy it was, if it was Jason or Thomas. I think it was Jason was talking about like how he's like an album listener. And that's just a product of, he's a bit older. I think he's in his mid-30s or something. So you'd go to the record store, you buy an album, and you listen to it, And that's always the way that I've been, and it just didn't even occur to me that people like listen to music differently, because I don't like talk to people about music very much at all. But if I want to listen to a song, even if it's like the 8th song on the album, I usually start the album at the beginning and work my way there. Or if I'm feeling especially frisky, I'll just put that song on and then let the album play continuously. My phone's always on like repeat all, But yeah, I don't do playlists. I don't think I've ever made one.
So like Jesse and I made one for leaving New Mexico. It was stuff we know we both liked, and we knew we'd be somewhere in the neighborhood of Sum 41 and Blink-182 when we crossed the New Mexico border into Texas. That was kind of the goal, right? I think there's a time and a place, when it's all said and done. But there's something to be said for a really good front-to-back album. I think the last one I really enjoyed front-to-back was Tokyo Police Club's Force Field.
By who?
Tokyo Police Club. Titus Andronicus came out with Most Lamentable Tragedy, but it was like a triple album, pretty ambitious, and I have only ever listened to the first third. So the first third of that triple album is a good album, I think. But but not too many other bands. I'm trying to think. Moose Blood, one of your recommendations the other day, their 2016 album was very good, I thought. I go probably 80 or 90% into that every time I listen.
Sure, there's one song I don't love.
But nobody like, okay, I hate intergenerational hating because everyone thinks they're the best and none of us are, so fuck off. But
except you hate baby boomers.
Well, yeah, but I'm also jealous that Dark Side of the Moon dropped or just like a Pink Floyd album would drop and they could very easily acquire weed and very easily drive over to their friend's house and, just like skip school for a week. And it was just the summer of love or whatever bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, no one gave a shit back then about anything. And you could spend the weekend just being high, happy to be high on weed, listening to, fucking Pink Floyd and just getting into it and enjoying every moment. Now it's like, I don't know. Every concert is all Live Nationed up, and you got to pay the fees to get the tickets. And even no matter how early you show up, you can't get to the front because there's a separate section for those who are willing to pay more and can pay more. And which one's the single, and how far up the chart can the single go, and what tour does that earn you? And the industry is, it's a money making machine, and it always has been, I guess, to an extent. But I just think music is enjoyed differently in general, and I am jealous of past generations for, not having technology and being able to be like, hey, this is the band I like. They came out with a new album. As far as I can tell, that's the most update I need for the next week, month, even. Right. Unless a friend of mine unless the Doors come out with something and bring over L.A. Woman, my timeline's probably way off. But you know what I mean? Like, when Dark Side of the Moon dropped, all the Pink Floyd fans, that's just probably what they did, right? Is just try to enjoy that as much as they fucking can. And that's the only time I ever give music a real chance is when, I don't know, Weezer or The Killers or, you try to enjoy something from someone you love. And, it sucks when they come out with something you don't really enjoy, but there's just no time anymore. Everything's so fast-paced. It's kind of heartbreaking in a way. And even if I showed up to their show early, I'd have to sit in the lawn seating. You know what I mean? Because that's all I can afford. And like that. It's just less romantic. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really pine for the old days too much. Mostly because the music I enjoy didn't exist back then, and I don't really enjoy. Yeah, I enjoy quite a few things.
I'm just saying, if you had a month where no one would fucking bug you about anything, and you just went home every night and played Enema of the State on vinyl or whatever the music you like, and you just got to, whatever, you don't drink and do drugs, but just light a candle or some shit and be all about it. I don't know. It just
yeah, dude, I've definitely done that before. Like I did it when I got the Julian Baker album on vinyl. When the Wonder Years vinyl showed up on my door, the upsides, I just kind of laid in bed with my eyes closed, listened to the whole thing. Had to get up and flip it around 3 times, but
right. Granted, technological advances are good because if you've ever moved and tried to move a record collection, you're like, I guess records are cool again, but they're also like, why the did anyone ever want them? Like, iPods are so much easier to move.
I had 4 huge Tupperware containers of them that I had to carry up to the 4th floor, which was like 8 staircases. Oh my God, dude, I was dying by the time I got them all up there.
Yeah, I have like a couple Bruce records, a couple Steve Martin comedy records, and I just bought a Christmas record for Jesse and I to listen to when we move in together.
Nice.
And other than that, I mean, there's maybe a couple Blues Brothers records, but I try to keep it under 10 at all times. There's going to be the ones I listen to for sure, but until I am pretty goddamn sure I'm not going to move anymore, I don't really... Like, you got to realize why people moved on from records into the digital age, because it's so much, anyway. People talk about sound quality, but I've never been really a sound quality guy, as we've discussed at length, but...
well, I also don't really fully buy into, like, oh, everything sounds better on vinyl, especially, like, the fucking stupid ass tipsters that are playing it through like $100 Radio Shack turntable. Like nothing is gonna sound good on that. Like don't lecture me on the sound quality of vinyl. You know, I mean.
Right. Is it more of a nostalgic sound that they're seeking? These old guys?
Yeah.
Like, do
yeah,
they want the cracks
noise.
and hissle?
It's noise, dude. And it's not even just the cracks, but it's just underlying noise floor that people got used to, so they like it. When they hear modern recordings,
I guess there might be something to be
said
for
now.
General preference.
Yeah, I mean, it's
nostalgia can be powerful and dangerous, I think, actually.
Yeah, it's just,
like I said, every generation
so
thinks they're the best, and it's all nostalgia-based memory stories that get better over time, Fisherman's Wharf bullshit that, you know, I don't know.
So also, you kind of touched on something that I wanted to ask. There have been memes about this where like you're like, hey, you know, person, check out this song. So you put it on and then they start talking like 10 seconds through it, you know?
Right.
Oh, this shit drives me crazy. But I mean, when I know it's not always consistent, but like, do you enjoy, like, is the majority of your music listening like active or like passive listening?
I'm going to say passive because of work and Spotify, but that's only a recent development, you know?
Oh, you listen at work?
Yeah, I just have one headphone in at all times, so it's mostly passive. But
that's pretty dope.
Back when I was in middle school or junior high, long trips in the car with my parents, it was very active, both headphones in, you know.
Right.
That's not something I get to do very much anymore, so I do miss that. But I also, you know, have 8 hours a day where I pretty much have 8 hours to fill with music, so I'm always kind of looking for stuff to sort through or stuff, you know. But at this point, it's almost too much access because,
yeah,
you know, there's certain I can't just put my Spotify library on shuffle anymore because it's 5 years of 8 hours a day listening. You know what I mean? Like, I just know every song that's coming, and I have a pretty big library at this point. You know, it's built up. In the digital age, you can just build it up to as big as your best CD collection was, you know?
Dude, that's why I got into podcasts. I got so bored of listening to the same music 9 hours a day that I Googled, like, my first podcast, like,
and the thing is,
it
takes time to get used to new music, and you can't be passively listening to it like that.
Right.
When the new Titus Andronicus dropped, Most Lamentable Tragedy, I went home and I just put my headphones in and laid down on the couch and soaked it in. Because that was a band awesome. I liked that I wanted to enjoy, and I soaked it in. But if I'm at work and I get tired in the middle of the workday, like, I need something new, I don't have time to, like, half pay attention to work and half be, like, finding fucking new grooves, you know?
Right. Man.
With that said, you know, the new Kendrick dropped a couple weeks ago, and people on Twitter were talking about it, so I put it on and I listened to the album, and when you're working, when you're only half listening, the really good stuff kind of stands out, and you're like, oh, shit, this is a track I really, you know, I am naturally being drawn from my work based on what's coming into my ears right now.
Right.
So you can kind of, you know, replay that song 5 times in a row and then keep moving on after that. Or
yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts, you know, but when I'm in the car going short distances, I'll throw on some music, and I feel like any time that I have music on, it's a pretty active thing. Like, if I'm in the car with my girlfriend and there's music playing, like, I'm not talking at all. Like, I'm just listening to the music. And if she starts talking, I'll, like, pause it or, like, turn it off, because I don't know, man. Like, if I have music on, like, I want to listen to it, you know? But that also makes it sound like I don't want to talk to my girlfriend either. But I don't like doing both. I don't really like having the music in the background, because
I'm like that with comedy. Like, when Jess and I first started dating, we'd watch The Tonight Show or something with Jimmy Fallon. And he'd be doing his monologue, and she'd be, like, talking about her day, which is, you know, the most normal thing ever. But part of me wanted to be like, hey, I'm trying to fucking really focus on these jokes. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know if they're funny. I want to know if they were delivered well. And
Right.
I, am more of a comedy fan. Maybe, I don't know. It's something I like. Sue me, whatever.
Right,
I don't want to sound like a douche. I'm sorry for the YouTubers if they think I sound like a douche, but I really enjoy really closely listening to comedy, probably more than music. And if it's... Anyway, so she would be talking, and that was kind of our first fight. She was like, fine, we'll watch the show. It's like, okay, here we go. Turn the fucking TV off if you want to talk. I'll talk to you all day long. But if we're going to watch Jimmy Fallon or Seth or James Corden or Steve Colbert, I want to see if they're doing a good job. I'm a fan of all these guys. I want to see, and if one of the writers would come out and do a cool segment or something creative. There was a while there I thought Seth Meyers was doing a really bad job, but his writers, whenever they came on, were... But the thing is, I want to be able to watch for those things and when something is really creative or new or... But yeah, is it wrong to shun loved ones while you're trying to enjoy something? You know what I mean? It's...
Right.
Time and a place, I suppose, but...
But yeah, I don't know. I don't understand people that can like just kind of throw music on in the background but not even pay attention to it. Like, I'd rather just be in silence if you're not gonna pay attention to it. Just for the sake of saving my
for
ears.
a drive, there's... It depends how many times I've heard it, I guess. Like, I'll throw on Steve Miller or James Taylor's greatest hits if I know it's something... It's good background noise, and I've heard it a fucking million times. And it doesn't matter if there's a conversation happening over it, So it fits both categories and is very good for the road, I've found.
Can I confess something to you?
Please do.
For the past 4 days, I've just had all the small things on repeat, like just non-fucking stop, and not like all day. But if I'm like driving to work from work, it's like a half an hour drive, just all the small things nonstop, dude. I cannot
I fall into
listening
that
to
quite literally all the time. What's that song you recommended to me a few weeks ago? I Want You by...
Oh, Marian Hill.
Yeah. There was an evening at work where it was just that, and she's been in the rotation of 5 to 10 to 15 for the last... since you recommended it, so...
What's 5 to 10 to 15?
The way my current Spotify library playlist set up, where I don't have any real playlists, but the most recent list of my library listing is generally what the playlist is. I'll start at the top and work my way down. So
okay.
If you went down to 100, it would be what I was listening to, at the beginning of the year or something. But usually the first set of 5 or set of 10 or set of 15 is the really new stuff. I was really, really waiting for her stuff to come on after you mentioned it. So I listened to that thing over and over. It reminded me of the Postal Service in the way that it used kitchen instruments for percussion. It was cute. It was just really fucking cute and very catchy, and her voice was very beautiful.
The video's awesome too.
That was one of those things where in the first 5 seconds I was super intrigued, based on the voice and the style of percussion, things like that.
I have Apple Music.
People rave about that. People rave about Google Music for some reason. I think it's because we have a family plan with my sister and my dad for Spotify, so that's just my weapon of choice.
Well, I've never even opened like the radio section of that.
No, I did Pandora for years, and I have a fear of algorithm-based radios, I guess.
So I got...
Like, of course I like Stingray, but I don't want to listen to every morning fucking once
I've never
every
used
hour.
Spotify. I use Pandora at work, because like we
Sugar
had
Ray,
to.
my bad.
I found the best station. It was a Sugar Ray Pandora station with an Everclear stem or seed, I forget, and then you thumbs down every Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it is just top 40s from like the year 1998.
Well, I was talking to a professor from OU one time. We were taking a drive to Columbus for some breakfast luncheon or something, but he was saying Spotify got worse over time. or sorry, Pandora. Like, you'd be more like when you started a channel in the later years, the Blues Traveler and Sugar Ray hits would come quicker if you entered any band that peaked in the 90s or anything. You know what I mean? Instead of being is eclectic the right word? A more scattered, a bigger variety in terms of when you just started a station. He said as the years went by, it very quickly turned into a rotation of maybe 200 songs.
No matter what station I listened to, if it was pop punk, if it was like folk, no matter what I put on, if it was a Postal Service station, Red Hot Chili Peppers would come on.
There's a lot of people that would thumb that up. Don't get me wrong.
Always, dude. So I canceled my Pandora account. I bought it. I paid like $3 a month so I could put it on at work and just not have to listen to the commercials.
Is Red Hot Chili Peppers the new Nickelback for like the modern tongue-in-cheek super meme era?
I don't know.
I feel like I've seen moderate hate
slung
their way.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But I would always get them, and I would get Coldplay all the time. And I just deleted it. Like, I canceled my account because you can't win, you know? And then Apple Music came out like a year ago. I pay $10 a month. I never used their curated stations, never even tried. I just don't care. If I want a song I don't have on my library, I download it to my phone. You know, it's just I download full albums. I just listen to albums. I don't skip around at all. You know, if I want to hear a song by an artist, I listen to everything by that artist. I don't really skip around too much. Like, what drives me absolutely crazy is when people listen, like, you're in a car with them and they put a song on and they, like, halfway through the song, they pick a new one. You, like, never finish a fucking song. Do you ever find yourself in that situation? Like, it drives me fucking crazy, dude.
Run it back to me one more time.
Like, if someone's listening to a song and, like, a minute and a half in, they switch to a new song, and then, like, after a minute, they switch to a new song, like, just skipping around. In what setting? Just, like, any set. Like, if you're in a car with them or, like, whatever, you know?
That sounds just like that sounds like psychotic behavior. Waiting a full minute into each song before skipping?
And then just skipping. Like, they can't wait. Like, oh, you know what? No, I want to listen to this.
Who does this, Tom? Who in your life subjects you to that type of torture?
I don't even remember. I remember it happening, though, not being happy about it.
That seems pretty psychotic, actually. I don't even know how to relate to that scenario. Who in a fit of skipping would wait a full minute into each song? Usually if I'm like, oh, I need something new, it's like, click, click, click. Click, click, click.
Right.
Click. Wait, maybe. Nope. 5 seconds go by at tops. Click, click. Okay, here we are. Who would be like, well, let's give it a minute. Okay, no. That song's the third of the way over, at least. Whoever's doing this to you can remain unnamed, but I'm telling you, that sounds like some bullshit to me. Like, that doesn't sound like human behavior.
Some primitive shit, man. So again, like, we have this kind of shared document. We jot down some ideas. I asked you some questions. Wasn't really expecting you to answer them in the document. I just meant, like, these are some things I want to talk about on the show.
You can put them in the show notes if you want. I answered them pretty thoughtfully.
That's good, man. Well, I do appreciate it. I didn't look at them because I wanted to be able to genuinely ask you them in this show and be surprised about the answers that I hear. So I haven't actually read your answers. And I asked, where is it here? Where'd it go? Okay. Did listening to music change for you once you started making music? Because we were in a band together from like 8th grade through high school. And then you write some jams on the guitar and you've written, you know, a couple songs on your own. I didn't know if you can recall when you were younger, like when you hear the music, like has it changed with how you listen to it or how you visualize it? Because, like, it sounds so narcissistic, but when I listen to a song, I imagine kind of like a music video that's just performance based where I'm playing every instrument, and how would I look on screen at that part if the camera were on me? Like,
I do the same exact thing.
you do?
Well, if you read the Google Doc, that's exactly what my answer was. The difference is now I visualize the band, how they'd look in a music video, what kind of intensity it would be. Sometimes how I would use it in a movie I was making, like what type of scene it would look like. If the main protagonist would be in a car riding on the highway, looking out the window or some shit. And then like what the music video would like if they were doing a promo tour for that movie, and they would cut from the guy looking out the window to the band on stage. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You just think about like more, I don't know. You and I doing shows together in high school with our best friends made me think about it's not that hard to come up with a snappy hit. Anyone can, you know? There's a good quote from Norm Macdonald, like, you don't need to be educated to do comedy. And I don't think you need to be very good at much to come out with a hit song. I mean, you think about some of the you think about Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty, 3-song hits. You know, you have good singer-songwriters out there that do it with simple knowledge of an instrument that's not that hard to pick up, really. And our generation grew up on power chords, I guess, and pop punk and things like that. But yeah, it made me think of what went into it. You know, how many pieces the band had, what the music video might look like.
But are you starring in these videos, or is it the band? Like,
it's a mix. I sometimes I can think like, wow, I could do that. You know, and I'm not that talented of a musician. I'm left-handed, and I've always played guitar and bass. Whenever you and I got together, right-handed,
right,
from what I understand. And if I can do it the wrong-handed wise,
right.
You know, but that's the way it is with half the songs. You know, it's not that hard to write a song, right? So, it changed dramatically. It's just you just picture the whole process. I mean, there's a weird. I don't know why I'm thinking of this right in this moment, but there's a music video from what's that band? It was in the worst era of music, but I really like the tune. "Slow Down" by the Academy is that music video where he talks about. The music video is the process of them getting famous enough to do a music video and things like that. And it was kind of meta or whatever But, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty easy nowadays to see into the process of what exactly goes down. And I would say it changed for me in that way. I just think about the process and what the band looks like, and maybe I would want to see them live or how I would use them in a movie. I don't know. My mind, that's what music does, right? It helps your mind. I'm definitely not thinking about work or stress or sleep or car payments, that's for sure, which is kind of the beauty of this whole thing.
Yeah, man, I think that's super interesting. Like, I've done like the one-man band thing, and I've been wanting to film like just a video of me kind of playing everything, but it's edited so that like there's like 4 or 5 of me on the screen. And most of the time when I visualize music, it's like if I could do the music video that
like you're the Oompa Loompas in
song.
your own life or something.
What? There's
just many of you.
Yeah, I think it'd be sweet. I mean, it's just a little bit of camera tricks, but I know someday I'll do it. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of like as a kid, I don't think I visualized. I don't even know. Like I didn't visualize music like I do now, and I didn't have cable, so I didn't have MTV to watch the music videos. So music was just, it was a totally different thing. Like it was such a, I don't want to say simpler, but I don't know. It was literally just some sound that came out of speakers, and now it seems like it's like this whole world of stuff. Like,
well, there's a guitar part in "First Date" by Blink-182. I think it's like that, like back when you were listening to double headphones in your bed before you went to bed, CD player status. You listen to it so much, you start to notice more layers. It's easier to notice the layers after you play the music, like, oh, they must have. And once you see the recording process, I've seen you record Zach's tunes and things like that. And, it's like, oh, they had to add that later. I wonder if that was hard. I wonder if they were tired that day in the studio, or I wonder how much studio time this took. God, I wonder how much money that took. Oh, geez, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. So all the small things, I didn't realize there's a harmony in the chorus, the "Say It Ain't So, I Will Not Go." There's it's just a descending melody the whole time, and it goes down like the same increment every time. And I didn't notice that until like maybe 3 years ago. And it is my favorite, most played song of all time. And it's cool that you can still discover things like that. I mean, I feel like I should have missed that, but you listen to songs and with like a different pair of headphones and you hear, a different guitar part that's just there to add texture, but you've never heard it before, or like, you notice a harmony deep in the background, or a little bit of delay on vocals that you never noticed. Or like, I remember the first time I heard Eminem's, the Eminem Show, all I heard before was just like a song, but then I revisited it like maybe 6 years ago. I was still living with the girls in Arlington, and I realized the entire album, all the vocals are double tracked, and like they weren't like, I guess it was like Dr. Dre's recording style. He didn't really try to line them up perfectly, but it's just like 2 vocal takes put together. And so everything's double tracked, and it just blew my mind that like, how did I not hear 2 distinct voices?
So that's what changed for me too. Like this came after we recorded in DC, probably is when it really changed, because
right, you saw the process.
There was the session where you and I sat down when Zach was out with the French chick he met, where you really, like, that just doesn't come from nowhere. It's a collaborative effort, and like it's a conscious effort to lay that down. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta put sounds on a track, and Eminem's a good example. I mean, there's the in the car crash noises and the like, there's, and then you think like, oh, every rhyming word has an emphasis third track on it, and it's a little thicker than that. Right. It's not that hard to really get the basis of what goes into it if you've ever seen a song get recorded or something, Right. And you work pretty fast, you and Zach, so it was, pretty, you could pick up pretty quick what was happening. Like, all right, well, we're going to lay down the this and that and get the,
And those were super basic, man. Like, if you get like pop, like top 40 songs, dude, there's like 200 tracks going on. Like,
song that blew me away recently was Ariana Grande's Side to Side. So I had to listen to it. I fucking love that song, by the way. That's the thing that as I get older, it's less about the genres and more about just, if it's a fucking banger, it's a banger, and I love it.
Right. No such thing as guilty pleasures anymore, right? It's just things that you like.
Yeah, there are things that I certainly like. And this isn't just about her attractiveness level or anything like that. There is like, well, there was a thing I didn't understand about the song. Like, BuzzFeed came out with an article that was like, the song's not just about this or that. It's about getting fucked so hard you walked side to side afterwards, right?
I think their words were, it's about getting d***ed so hard.
Right. That was the headline probably. And, wrist icicle is when drips off your hand, right?
Oh, God.
That was a Nicki Minaj lyric in the song. So I had read that BuzzFeed article, and I'm like, like, now the music video makes a lot more sense. And anyway, I went back and listened to it a bunch just because it's a catchy little, like, I don't know if you'd call that reggae-style guitar riff. That's probably way off, but you get what I'm trying to say, just to like a offbeat-based guitar riff. And at the beginning of the song, they really slyly set it in there like, I've been here all night, ooh, on it, baby. There's like a little, it follows it, and it's something that plays a major role in the final few choruses of the song. Like, it's just like a little it's almost like a dimmed auto-tune. Like, it follows really subtly in the first chorus. But it took me probably 20, 30 listens to really hear how the producer set up that really crucial aspect to how the song feels in the last 30 seconds.
Right.
And it blew me away. I was like, I didn't notice, because you can't notice like that the first time you listen. That's why the 5-second thing is so dangerous, and it takes a while to get used to these things.
Yeah, man. I think so.
There's just so much good music, and Spotify lets us hear all of it, literally fucking all of it, and it just takes a minute. I don't know. I wish I had more time. That's all for a lot of things.
I feel you,
really.
Man. I gotta send you this Rookie of the Year song. That's like, it's a pretty straightforward song, but when you start like really trying to listen to something different every time, there's just so much, dude, and it blows my mind. Like, I get so overwhelmed with sessions that get over like 50 tracks, and dude, there must be 150 things going on, and even things like that just totally blow me away. Like things that aren't really necessary, like, but as a whole, it just makes it like, you know, that I don't know, man. I just think the attention to detail on some like pop songs is crazy. Like, just especially with all the vocal stuff going on, the embellishments.
Like, people say pop is like, you know, it's so easy to enjoy, blah, blah, blah. It's nothing, it's mindless, but it is some well-produced shit. You know, if it's shit, it's well-produced shit, you know.
Right, and I would credit that to the producers, you know? I mean, there's a reason top 40 people go to certain people because they know how to take...
Well, there's something to be said, and there was a funny SNL sketch the other week about America's first big fat hook, and Jimmy Fallon was hosting, and they're at a Confederate camp, and Beck Bennett is like, "All right, gentlemen, should we sing 'Here We Come Marching from New York,' the Yankee anthem?" You know, like, "Here we are a-coming," and then the music break comes, and Jimmy Fallon gets up, and he's like, "And we're going to a party at my parents' house, oh." And Beck Bennett is like this, you know, colonel in the Civil War, and he's like, "Oh, excuse me, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I just thought it needed a little, you know." And Harry Styles, the musical guest, is playing a Confederate prisoner at this, you know, Union camp. And he's like, "Yeah, when you go into the bridge, you should really," he's like, "Are you not handcuffed?" He's like, "Oh, shit." And he runs back to the tree and like pretends to be, you know, the prisoner again. But, you know, he's singing this like old school like snare drum anthem, like, "We are fighting for our families." And, you know, Jimmy Fallon turns it into this gum pop, snappy party at my parents' house, Aaron Carter-esque, you know, anthem. And,
right.
I think my point was, you know, there's more of an art to a good hook than people maybe give credit for or something. I don't know.
Right. And I think there's a lot more hiding beneath the surface of a pop song that is what makes it what it is.
A lot of shit on the radio, sure, fine, whatever. But a really, really good pop song is, I mean, it's not, you can't just, you know, there's always something to the feel. You know, I watched the movie The Founder the other day. It's about the guy that made McDonald's big as a chain. And, you know, he was trying to make a point in those real interviews after the movie airs in like a documentary style movie. And he was trying to describe why the name McDonald's worked. And I think what I'm trying to say is there's certain pop songs that have the same feel. Like a good hook, or I don't know, whether it's pop or rock or rap, you know, there's like something to be said for someone saying something maybe even not new, but in a new way with a new, the phrasing or the melody just kind of, it just works for some reason, you know?
Right.
Like, you know, what's that song by Nicki Minaj, "Starships, They Hit the Sky"?
Oh, God, I don't...
That chorus had been done probably twice by the time that song came out. And that was, you know, lame pop that had been done before. And, you know, but that's not always the case. You know, when it's new, it hits and it's good and you can just, I don't know. We're getting off track and I'm rambling and I'm sorry, but...
No worries, man. I definitely do have a love for pop production. Even if the songs suck, they find a way to make
You're
them
a pop punk guy. It's
rock.
half in your blood.
Do you want to get to the final segments and
if you
get
were
out of
Balto,
here?
that would be the dog side of you.
The what?
Coming out. Try to make a weird pop punk Balto comparison, and it didn't work, so we can just move on.
Dude,
but Balto's a dope movie, even though it's wildly
so
inaccurate
good.
historically.
Right. Would you want to go? Do you want to get to highlights of the week now?
I mean, I guess.
Let's do it.
Okay, fine.
Go.
All right, then maybe I will. Let's see. Well, the puking in the parking lot was not my highlight of the week. I think that's pretty safe to say.
All right.
Oh, man. Being home for my dad's birthday. You know, I've been traveling a lot lately has been really tiring me out, but so I work night side. I work 3 to 11 p.m. every day. So I don't really have a weekday life and
Right.
especially because my girlfriend is long distance, and I'm not in the city I want to be in right now. Not against anybody, but that's just my girlfriend's not where I am, so it's disheartening.
When do you sleep until every day, by the way?
It varies greatly. Sometimes I fall asleep as soon as I get home.
And then you sleep until like what, like noon or 10 or what?
It depends if I'm drinking, you know. Okay. That probably sounds bad or weird, but there was a stretch where I was. There was probably a month stretch where I was watching the show Shameless, where he drinks a lot, and I was drinking and acting like I was still in college a lot, and I was sleeping till noon or 1 and just going right into work. Lately, when taxes kicked in and I had to get my shit together and get my car fixed and start taking the bus to work, usually I'm way healthier, for obvious reasons, when I'm taking the bus to work. I'll go to bed at a reasonable hour because I'm exhausted from the I have to walk 1.5 miles to the bus stop every day and back home. And you got to get up early, get your shit ready, taken care of, and taxes and car fixings and making calls and going to the dentist, and it varies really. I wish in my next job I worked dayside, because nightside is, you don't really get a weekday to enjoy, and
right,
and you get what, 2 out of 7? I don't know what the percentage is exactly, but you're enjoying 2/7 of your life, especially if you're not near the people you love, so anyway, trying to make the most of the weekends lately. I forget how we got onto this topic, but highlight of the week. Yes, I was there for my dad's birthday and I was able to cut my aunt's lawn and kind of help out, and
nice.
Yeah, it was good, man. Even though I puked that morning, I was able to cut my Aunt Colleen's lawn, so it was, I at least broke even that day, I think, karma-wise.
Sometimes breaking even is all you can really ask for.
That should be a fucking Sobe cap.
That's just sad.
That's America's new big fat hook, dude. Call the Chainsmokers.
Oh, God.
I'm not a fan of the Chainsmokers, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm on the same boat there.
Closer. How was that even a hit on the radio? Sorry. Any song that references another song that you're enjoying is fucking, don't write it.
Right.
Like that Blink-182 song. It's like, I'd rather be listening to the Blink-182 song. This is what?
Yeah.
Somehow less than 2 chords is what this song is made up of? And they're like documented douchebags. I get that there's like this whole rock life, but you're not living a rock life. My favorite Onion article of all time is like, Queen Elizabeth hopes she dies before she has to knight a DJ. It's like, fuck you. Tell the YouTubers we're coming for them. This, the world's ending. We're running out of fresh water. Everyone's going to die. Let's just speak honestly about this. Fuck off. Sorry. Go ahead. What was your highlight of the week?
No, I think for me, like, my birthday was a lot of fun. I didn't really like see my girlfriend too much, so it was just like I was working a lot on the podcast stuff. But I think Sunday morning, they had the March for Science on Earth Day, which is my birthday. And the guys, Jack and Newton from Ad Astra, went to the March for Science, and they interviewed a bunch of people about why they're marching, what they would like to see, in the future, like how they think things can possibly get better from this. And they interviewed some pretty awesome people. Like they got a hold of the director of space policy for the Planetary Society, and they interviewed him. And they interviewed a man named Robert Picardo, who was on Star Trek Voyager as the Doctor. And he's now on the executive board for the Planetary Society. And they got an interview with him, which was just incredible. I thought it was so cool. There was you could hear like a crowd of people like around him, like listening to his answers, and like the people laughing when he said something funny. And it was just so cool. And I didn't ask them to do that, they just kind of saw a good opportunity, and they only had their cell phones with them, but they recorded it, and they sent me all these files, and I spent like 7 hours like transcribing them and making captions, because it wasn't super easy to hear with the crowd going on, and it just made me feel like these dudes really care about what they're doing. And it made me, you know, I put a lot of time and effort and money into this shit. Like, this giveaway we're running is going to cost me like upwards of like $150. Which I make, you know, that's a lot of money for me. But it made me feel like it's worth it. You know, like they care as much as I do, possibly
half a day's
even
work.
more. Huh?
That's half a day's work.
Yeah, man. And like, they're doing like such a good job, and it just made me feel really happy. Like, I know that they're doing the show for me, for my network, but like I feel like I'm privileged to like be a part of it. Like,
it's a
as
good
like
show.
the
Again,
producer
to
of the
all
show.
of our listeners, we are the test product. Like, go listen to Ad Astra. If you are hanging with us, you should go listen to Ad Astra. They are talking about some very cool shit. Not to doubt, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say.
Right.
If people who are listening to this point understand what's going on here.
But it was just awesome to like, it's like, dude, like, I found the right guys, you know?
Sure.
I found people
Jack's
who are really
amazing.
gonna put in
whoever
the work.
The other guy is, I'm sure he's great too.
Newton, yeah, he's fucking incredible too.
I've probably made this comment twice before already, but that's a great science podcast name to have.
Right. So just the feeling I had when like I saw all the interviews they did with them, it was just like, man, I feel so lucky that I have these dudes. Like, you know, we're all working together and trying to make something that we're proud of, trying to like, you know, add value to the listeners by educating and entertaining. And it just made me feel like I want to do it even more. You know, I mean, you know that I want more shows on the network. I'm working on getting the third going here, hopefully pretty soon. But it just made me feel good, man. I was super stoked to. I'm really excited to put the video out this week.
Well, hell yeah.
You want to talk about last week's music?
John.
Yes, Hotelier. Is that how you pronounce it?
The Hotelier, yeah.
The song was pretty good, and the album, you know, first listen, what can you say about an album on the first listen? But, you know, it's pretty good. I'll have to revisit. You know, I was thankful for the new recommendation, like all new recommendations, to fill my time at work. I didn't totally fall in love with it right away, but, you know, it's pretty good. There's a lot like it, I'll say. Is that fair?
Oh, okay.
There's a lot like that band, and they didn't stand out from the similar acts I've heard.
If you listen to their first album, especially considering that I think they were like 17 when they wrote it,
okay,
the lyrics are, it's a little more like pop punk.
So listen to one of their older albums.
I'll send you a song.
Okay.
Once we get off here, it's a little more like kind of pop punk ish, not like Story So Far though, like kind of an emo
that is
indie
cookie
pop
cutter
punk.
pop punk for sure.
But then their newer album is like way more really different. I feel like there's got to be something that'll really grab you though. I'll
give it another spin. I'll look at their discography.
All right.
It wasn't off-putting in any way. It was just, It's very similar. You did well to give me something that falls into my spectrum of things that I look for. And
Sure.
It was just sounded a lot like the stuff I've been trying recently. So
Okay.
I just wasn't taken immediately, but I'll give it another try.
All right, cool. So I had Kendrick Lamar's DNA.
Indeed.
And I'll tell you what I really liked about that song. I liked the part that went, I got, and that's about all I liked.
And that's the first 4 seconds of the song.
Yeah, I listened to it like maybe 4 times, and I even listened to like 4 other songs on the album. I listened to Damn, Humble, and something else. And I just, personally for me, I don't like his flow. I don't like his rhyme structures. You already pointed out that the music itself isn't really anything.
Yeah, from what I can tell,
about.
and I'm no rap connoisseur, it was more about the rhyme and less about the production value.
Right. And not even production value.
People always talk about the Who's Your Top 4, and people say their top 3 is Tupac, Biggie, and God damn it, I forget. they're always like, who else is in your top 4? And the 4th place is either between Jay-Z or Nas, and there's always a discussion between whether or not Nas's poetry can compete with Jay-Z's self-promotion and overall production value, I guess. Right. And, the truthers are always like, no, it's not Jay-Z. And everyone's like, yeah, but Jay-Z's real as f*** and has way more hits. I guess that's the classic music debate as well. It's really frustrating me that I can't think of the other.
Is it Dre?
Oh, I can't remember. I really can't. I'll get back to you on that.
All right.
I was hoping if I brought it up, I'd be able to think of all 4, but now I'm embarrassed. Sorry, everyone. Tell the YouTubers they were right about me. Tell my mom she was too.
That might be the title for the show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It was one of those things where it's like when you're reading a sentence and you keep going back to the same line over and over because you're not really paying attention. Right. I kind of feel like I had that where I would listen. And
you're not a big rap guy, not a huge rap guy, I should say. I
like hip hop, but not rap, I guess. Like I like hip hop groups.
You got to be looking to enjoy that album, I think, is probably the fairest way to put it.
I wanted to because all of my friends are like losing their fucking minds over it. So I thought like
it's
there
not
has
the
to be something
catchiest.
to it.
I mean, I think people get caught up in social media buzz.
Sure.
And like things they shouldn't and things like that. There's 2 songs off that album that I've been listening to. After weeks of listening to it, DNA and Element. Going hard on a bling, I'ma make it look sexy. That song, track 4, I think, are the only 2 I've really stuck with. So,
that already sounds catchier than DNA. I might listen to that one.
Yeah, listen to Element. You might like it.
All right. What do you got this week?
This is something that didn't come from a friend, despite what I've said for an hour and a half now. This was a Spotify, just desperate at work for something new to crunch through for the last hour of my shift. It's called Nervous Dater is the band.
Oh.
And it was a 2016 6 or 7 track, more of an EP than an album length type thing. 5 tracks maybe. Yeah. But it's called 100 Beers. I think it might be a female singer. I'm gonna recommend the whole thing. The song I like is the first track on it, so it'll be easy for you. But yeah, 100 Beers, the EP by Nervous Dater, Spotify recommendation. Let's see if the algorithm can win you over, Tom. It won me over.
All right, sounds good. So have you heard of Lil Dicky?
Yes.
Have you listened to him?
I have, and his what's the Bruh, his song Bruh, BRUH, is probably what I enjoy most about him.
Okay. Did you listen to Molly, the song with Brendon Urie?
I have not.
Brendon Urie.
I can give it a shot.
Okay.
Who's that? Who's Brendon Urie?
Who the is Brendon Urie? Kill yourself, Pat.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
You have introduced our podcast thrice with Brendon Urie quotes.
Oh, is it the fucking... Is it the Panic at the Disco guy?
Yeah,
he's on a Little Dicky song. I can't tell if I like him less or more because of that.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Lil Dicky is like a comedy rapper, right?
No, he's a professional rapper, Tom.
The song Molly is 0% funny. It is...
Bruh isn't that funny either. I think he wants to be taken seriously. But what happened to get famous was his song... It's the one where he wants to talk about save that money, right?
Oh, so funny.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think he wants to be a comedian. It was like when Donald Glover started to be a rapper. He was like, the only thing that's funny is that I actually have flow or whatever.
Well, the song Molly is... I know that I'm really into music videos because I feel like it only makes... If it's a good video, it only makes a song better. This music video... First of all, this song, the subject of the song is my absolute worst nightmare.
A bad trip?
No. I almost don't even want to say anything about it. It's a beautiful song. It's so sad. You have to watch it with the video, though.
You've asked me that about the past several of your songs.
I know.
And I'm not a big video guy.
But
I'll try my hardest to remember to do that.
I'll send you a link to it because I feel like it really adds to the song. Like, usually it's just like, oh, it's a fun video. It's like a couple cool shots, but like it really adds to the song. Also, have you heard Pillow Talk? Pillow Talk from him yet?
No.
Dude, that's another one. It's like a 12-minute song, and the video is like the funniest fucking thing ever.
Oh, okay.
But Molly, Brendon Urie's in it. He's a good-looking dude. Watch the video for him.
If you got my old school iPod in junior high and you were like looking through my artists and it was one of the artists that I had only one song of, he would be one of those, and it would be Bruh. Okay. So I definitely, my little Dicky horizons are not that wide. I will widen them, I promise you. Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's like an artist that needs to be front and center in your life, but
here's a question for the fucking ages. Based on what you just said, who would rank higher on that ranking, him or Macklemore?
Ooh.
One is falling fast, one is rising moderately.
So I think Macklemore is, I feel like he raps about some pretty real shit, with like addiction and stuff.
Either way, I think both of them are acquired tastes, perhaps.
Well, how about you tweet at us at _reminiscent FM on Twitter. Macklemore versus Lil Dicky. I like them both, to be honest.
And then while you're voting, listen to Kendrick, the new Kendrick, because it's dope.
You want to call it there, man? I'm about ready for bed. It's 10 past 11?
You might as well just go for it and be like Macklemore versus Lil Dicky versus Watsky versus any other non-Eminem white rapper.
It's just battle of the white rappers.
Right. But again, you got to be listening to the new Kendrick while you vote.
Okay.
To defeat the whole purpose. Like, which of these white rapper songs are funnier? By the way, DNA, dope track.
Well, let's say goodnight, dude. I'm about ready for bed. It's even later where you are. So.
True. It is a good thing I work nightside, like I said. Yeah. I could sleep until noon if I wanted to. I just usually don't. So
I'm jealous, man. I'm up at 4:10 every morning.
Oh, even mountain time. That sounds brutal. So I will. I'll let you go. Apologies to everyone. As always, thanks for hanging around. We love you.
www.elemental.fm/win to win an autographed book by David Grinspoon. I think it's a really cool prize. Get in there. Pat, you're not allowed. Sorry.
All right, that's fine.
All right, dude. Well, I'll talk to you next week, but certainly before then, I'm sure.
Love you, baby.
I do. Love you too, man. Bye.
Bye. Hello, welcome to Reminiscent. I'm Pat.
I'm Tom.
We just want you to relax.
Imagine your breath moving in and out of your body.
Pretend you're in a meadow.
I don't know, dude. You're going to have to take it.
Pretend that you're losing your hair, but the opposite feeling. Pretend that the field you're in has pretty flowers.
Keep going.
You go. That's the whole point.
I can't, dude.
What is so hard? We were supposed to start off slow.
I get nervous.
About what? It's our own podcast. Let's start over. I don't want to scrap this. We're starting over.
I really can't.
Just go with the most basic shit.
I can't, dude. I freeze.
How do you freeze? Just mention shit about a meadow.
I can't. Okay, I'll try.
It's just yes and, man. Yes and. All right, 3, 2, 1. Hello.